Hello everyone and welcome back to Percy's Park. Boy, it's been a while since I've said that, isn't it? Today, to get Percy's Park into the spooky season, what we're going to do is make an expansion, and it's going to be right over here in this area. And boy, is this expansion going to be spooky. It's going to feature two rides that we actually already know, that being the Carousel and the Colourful Cascades, although they will have a little bit of a twist, as well as two brand new rides in Percy's Park. I'm super excited. Let's get started by preparing the terrain over here. Now the first thing we need to do to prepare here is to get rid of all of these trees. Of course, if we're going to make things spooky, we need to set the right atmosphere, and these trees aren't exactly what I had in mind. Plus, we need space to build. And so the trees, they are out. Now you may notice that I've brought the train out here, and that's for a very, very special reason. For the very, very first time since I made that train, we are actually going to have another train station. Now, I wasn't really sure on the dimensions yet, and so I decided to bring the train out so that I can just measure it with the train there. And what you're seeing me build here is more like a blueprint to give me a bit of an idea of how big this train station should be. And finally, we cannot have a spooky expansion without a very spooky atmosphere. Let's make this whole thing dark and dreary and grey. Let's change the biome here to a pale oak biome. And there we are, riding into the brand new train station over here in the brand new dark and gloomy and grey area. Let's get out of the train. There we go. This train is about to disappear. Don't worry about that. This is a brand new train station. We have seats over here, little benches that you can sit on. Isn't that neat? We have a little ticket booth over here. Of course, you don't need a ticket to ride the Percy's Park Express, but it's nice to have it as a decoration. And then, of course, this is where you exit the train station. Let's have a look at it from the front. This is what it looks like outside the structure. Overall, I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I'm really liking it. I really think it looks good. Which brings us to the very next thing that we're adding. And we're adding it, I don't know, what's a good distance? Let's say over there. We're just going to do a that, and then that, and then that, and there we go. Carousel. But this carousel is far too bright and cheerful and happy, isn't it? Let's make this dark and gloomy and fit in with the rest of the environment over here. Let's see if this works. That does not work. Why does that not work? Oh no. I know why that doesn't work. I think that I just accidentally... Oh yes, I did. Oops, that's on me. Let's change that back, shall we? There we go, much better. And there we go, now it all looks properly spooky. Perfect for our haunted expansion over here. Let's see if the horses themselves are spooky too. Oh, look at that! They're skeleton horses. I mean, could you have expected anything else? As you can see and hear, the ride is working, the music is working, which means it is now time to bring in another one of our existing rides. The Colourful Cascades that I showed you in the start, of course, are very colorful, but over here they're not going to be as colorful. It's going to be a little bit smaller because we have less colors to work with. Maybe about this size, I don't really know. I'm just doing random things here now. Now I think it can be a little bit bigger, and it should be a little bit more shapely as well. Now, if I've done everything correctly, and I very well may not have, I don't know, we should now see, I think it's over there. Look at that. Yeah, I'm happy. So we have black, gray, light gray, and white splashes being splattered all over here now. Similar to the Colourful Cascades, only with less color, the Colourless Cascades. I have also gone ahead and tweaked the carousel a little bit with the light gray wool. It looked a little bit washed out, so I changed the light gray to white. It looks a little more defined in my opinion. Now you may notice we've kind of sped through these three things that we've got over here. I believe we've just added 3 attractions in under 5 minutes of this video. And that is mainly because I want to get to the new stuff. We've already seen those rides, we want to have new stuff. Let me grab some blocks to set up a little demonstration. What I want to have over here, front and center, well, not entirely front, but in the center when you come out of the train station is a big mansion. And it's going to be a haunted mansion. And what makes this mansion haunted? Well, there is going to be a big central hallway, a bit like this. And off of that central hallway, we're going to have different hallways. And I reckon 4 might be enough each side. We might make a second floor depending on if that's viable. But essentially the idea here is we have this big central hall, and if you go in any one of these side hallways, you will eventually get teleported to a random one of the other ones. And always facing this central hallway. So no matter where you go, you always end up here in this central hallway. Spooky, huh? Now to really properly make this work, a teleportation like that needs to be entirely seamless. Players should not be able to tell when and how and why and if they even have been teleported. So let's do some experimenting, shall we? And for that, we're just going to go over here because we have a lot of space here. And I'm just going to set up a really simple room. So now over here, I have 2 identical hallways, as you can see. Now, what's going to happen if I walk through here? Did you see it happen? Because I sure didn't. What's happened is I am now in the other one. I went into that one and now I'm in that one. Right? Let's try that again. Let's do that again. Let's see if it... Look, we're in the other one. It is really weird. The thing here is now we also need to be able to do that backwards, right? Because with that example, we're going one direction. That's the same as going in this corridor and then coming out of this one. But we also need to be able to go through here and then turn around and go out of this one without it seeming weird. So I'm closing up this one and opening up the back over here. And then telling the command block that we want to rotate 180 degrees. This might not be entirely seamless because I don't have the distance right, but we're going to see. We're going to find out if it works. Ooh, that wasn't entirely seamless, as I said, but we can figure that out. Let's see if this is more seamless. Oh, that's definitely not more seamless. Okay, I think I know what the issue is. We also need to do this, I think. Oh, yes, and you can see it, I'm noticing now. Oh, that's not good. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but these planks, they sort of end with this dark part, but over on this side they don't have that dark part. So that means we could really only use textures that aren't rotated. Oh, that's a bummer. I didn't think of that. And after a really long think, I think the only solution is to just not rotate the player at all. Now let's clean all of this up and get to work on the actual thing. Now I did say I wanted it front and center, but I think we're taking this center over here, meaning it's a little bit over to the right in that direction. And that's because there's going to be another attraction over here. Because remember, I promised 4 attractions today. Whoosh. I have a really big issue, literally a really big issue. So as you can see, I put together some hallways, some corridors. It's not functional yet. It doesn't teleport you anywhere. It's supposed to teleport you if you go on this one. It would teleport you over here, right? That's the idea. Unfortunately, this looks cool. This kind of has the vibe that I want. It's dark. It's gloomy. It has the feel that I want. The issue is, this is how big it is, and that is a really big issue. Because it's about as much as I prepared for this entire area, right? The big issue is this structure, if we finish it, it's going to dwarf everything else in the park. We're going to have a really big scaling issue here, and that is a problem. That's a really big problem because every other ride is going to seem small. We literally cannot have that. So I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and find a way to make this smaller while still keeping the feel, right? There you go, that's gone. This is still very, very big, but not as big as the other one was. The other one, I think, was like twice as big. It was twice as long, at least. And to these size as well. No, that's about twice as big, I think. And the way that I managed to get this smaller is, first of all, you may notice that the hallway here is a little bit more narrow, as well as the little hallways to the side here. But a really neat little trick that I did is I indented it a little bit, as you can see. So what that means, with the other hallways that we had, we were able to look into the hallway that was over there. And as a result of that, they would have to be 2 columns of these apart. This hallway would have to have been over there, right? And so now, because I have this column over here, they can all get together a little bit closer, which is great. Now, the next thing on our list is getting this functional. And the way that we do that is not at all over here. we're going to bring it here where the right is going to be. So let me just clone this. Now, as you can see, I did kind of set out a little thing over here. This is roughly where I want the entrance. Of course, we need to have some space on the inside. Because I did decide I do want to have an upstairs. So we need some room for stairs. So roughly over here would be a good spot, I think. Let's just put it here and see what happens. I am not sold on this. Let's move it forward. No, yeah, we need some space here is the issue. And we need some space in there. Oh, this is still going to be a really big structure. You know what? Half of this part was based on me not knowing what I'm doing, so let's just continue with it anyway and see where it lands. Which means just going ahead and putting the second floor in as well. There you go. And like I said, first thing we're going to do is make this functional, and then we're going to make it look pretty. I think that's the way to do it here. So we've already figured out how to seamlessly teleport the player. We do that by teleporting them relative to where they are. But if we want them teleported to a random hallway rather than one that we set out already beforehand, we need to do something a little bit more involved than that. So if we go into ghost mode over here, we have some empty space over here. What I'm thinking we're going to do is we're going to teleport them relatively from those hallways into this empty space. And from this empty space, they're going to get relatively teleported into one of the other hallways. I am not entirely certain, but I think I've now done it for all of the ones on this side of the structure. So wherever I go into here, it should teleport me to one of those over there. Let's go see if it works. No, that's not good. Whoa. What? And I found the issue. Let's see if it works. Whoa, let's go. Hey, it worked. I'm somewhere else now. Oh, this is cool. And it should have done it again. I'm somewhere else now. Doesn't seem to be going down though, right? Just fine. I mean, it's completely random. Of course, there's a good chance that it will. Oh, yes, it's down. It's down. Oh, this is so cool. It doesn't matter. Oh, that one is a little bit of a glitch. I'm not sure that's something I can really do something about. But this is really cool. It doesn't matter where I go. I always end up in the central hall. Now I need to just do this for that side of the building. And I think we're actually kind of done with the functional parts of this. We need to make it look pretty. And now all the things for the other one are in place. Let's go walk through this, shall we? Let's go run actually. Why not? Here you can see that we are now somewhere else. We're now on the top floor, by the way. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this. It's different. This is one of those things you have to experience for yourself. It is so weird walking through here. You can run through here forever and you'll always end up in this hallway. Or of course, the one on the second floor there. You may notice, by the way, over there, it turned lighter. Of course, that's because this is exposed. When there's a structure around it, you're not going to see it. Because this does kind of ruin the effect, doesn't it? But now that this is all functional, let's put a pretty mansion around it, shall we? And just like that, pretty mansion has been achieved. Or at the very least, a spooky mansion. Let me introduce you to Endless Manor. Walking through the gates of Endless Manor, you can see the manor itself inviting you in through its really big wooden door. You will notice we end up in a foyer, I think is what it's called. Where we have a familiar hallway right in front of us and also the big stairs leading up. Now, one of the things I did, you will notice, is we have a painting down over there. But if I go up, you will notice there is a different painting. And what that does, it shows that now you're in the top floor and the other one is in the bottom floor. It's one of the other things that's just a little bit confusing to suddenly be, well, on the same floor again. You get what I'm saying? Looking over there and seeing a different painting, even though you don't feel like you went up or down. That's really spooky. I feel like it adds to the effect. Something I am actually particularly proud of is the way, if I go out here, we have, of course, everything being dark and gray here. And as we go in, it's also gray, very gray, but slowly the further in we walk, the more warm the colors get, the more inviting it is to walk down these hallways. So hopefully I'm getting that across. Now you will also notice I've put a skull up there. which serves as a warning, as an omen. Enter at your own risk. Now, making my way outside again, you may have noticed that I've actually already expanded the Pill Oak Forest all the way around the mansion over here. Endless Manor is a really big property with a lot of spooky things going on, including what is going to be over here, and that is the fourth ride that I promised, the Forest of Reflections. What at first glance looks to be just a kind of spooky forest will eventually, I've yet to make it, be something very, very daunting indeed. You see, in these woods you may find the scariest creature of all, and that being yourself. What we are going to do here in the Forest of Reflections, if I can find my way out, oh there it is. At the time of recording 1.21.9 is not yet out, but I have gone ahead and upgraded to the pre-release. And what that means is that we have access to the mannequin mob. Look at that. This is a brand new entity. You can't really get it in survival, you can only get it in with commands. And this entity doesn't really do a whole lot other than just stand there and look like a player. Now on this particular mannequin that I summoned, we can see Alex's player model. But I can fill in a profile. Over here I filled in my second account, and if I summon this one, look at that, this one looks like my second account. And so using this mechanic, we can have a forest over here where when the player walks through, they will eventually find themselves. Which I find both very spooky as well as a little funny, honestly. But of course, here in Percy's Park, I cannot sit somewhere, wait around for someone to come by and then fill in their name to get a mannequin. We need to find a way to automate that. And I don't think there is a real easy way for me to get someone's actual player name, which would be an issue if Mojang wasn't smart enough to also let us use UUIDs. Now, a UUID is a unique something something identifier. Every player has one and it's unique to their account. And I think if I modify, entity, the one I'm looking at over here, that's the Alex one. Profile.idea, set from entity myself, UUID. Oh, that works. Okay, that's brilliant. So what I can do is when people walk into the forest over here, I can get their UUID and I can summon a mannequin with that UUID. Let me set up some stuff for that in the data pack and let's see if we can make this happen, shall we? Whoosh. What you may notice in my chat, it's spamming the word out and also the word in if I walk over here. I am currently trying to determine when someone is in the forest and when someone is out of it. Obviously, I don't really want mannequins spawning anywhere in the park. I really just want it in the forest over here. And so figuring out when someone is in or out is absolutely crucial to that. And really, what's really important is that I go past the edges over here to figure out if it still considers me in or out of the forest. And so this is kind of a boring job, but it is absolutely necessary. But so far, we're kind of at the farthest point now, and I'm not seeing it. I think this is technically the farthest point. So I think we are absolutely good. Just to give you some context, if I just go out a tiny little bit over here, look at that, we are already considered out here. We're not even that far away from it. And that's exactly what I want to see. I think it's really good right now. Now we can make it so that this attraction is only active when there's actually someone inside. Brilliant. And if you're interested, it's great for performance as well. Next up, we don't want it to spam mannequins in the way that it was spamming in and out in chat. And so what I have set up now is when I go in, there's a random chance and it's really small. There you go, that it says random. And so the idea is it only summons, oh, there's a second one. It only summons mannequins when that's happening. And honestly, this is the first number I filled in. It feels kind of good already the way that it is. So I'm perfectly happy continuing with this and getting some mannequins summoned. Whoosh. So what I've just shown with the mannequins and them taking over my own skin, I've just automated that with a function, which should be this over here. And there you go. It immediately summons a mannequin with my skin. So now I have it randomly summon a mannequin and it should teleport around me somewhere using the spread player command. And the issue about it, oh, there you go, there one happened. Oh, that's not good. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? Uh-oh. Oh, I know why, that's on me. That should be fixed. I've also added a little text so that it will tell me when there is a new mannequin. Look at that, so spooky! Oh, there's another new one somewhere. I don't know where. Oh, there he is. Oh gosh, this is actually properly... This is more spooky than I thought it would be, seeing yourself randomly. And I'm not even done with this yet. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's two of them at the same... Whoa, okay. Yeah, no, I got it. That's fine, thank you. Oh, that one is in the fence. Maybe we should see if we can fix it. Oh, and I should work on that as well. The reason they died is when you leave the forest, they should all be removed. And I technically just left the forest. Maybe I should have a little bit more of a buffer for that one. Alright, let's see what happens now. Oh, there's one. Oh, he's just outside the forest. That's probably also not good. I have to think on the solution for that. So far, oh, I genuinely thought that scared me. The mossy thing, the glowy thing. It's not a glowy thing. Oh, hello. And as you can see, something I changed is they now stare at you. Oh, they all stare at you now. Oh, brother. This is scary. This is genuinely kind of scary. Honestly, I think there's too many of them right now. But now there is a while that there aren't any. I should tweak the randomness a little, but also make it more likely to happen. Oh, hello. This is genuinely kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, whoa, there's one. Hello. We saw that happen. We saw that one already. Whoosh. Having made a couple of tweaks, let us walk through the forest of reflection, shall we? First thing you'll notice, I've actually put up a sign with a lantern and some more signs. Enter at your own risk, beware of the creature, and turn back now. I imagine those last 3 signs were put there by someone who was very frightened by what they found in the forest. But ignoring these signs, let's go further and we should see pretty soon something happen to us. Whoa, look at that, there it was. You may notice that we get the darkness effect, and I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there is a really low rumbling heartbeat sound. The sound itself I've taken from the Warden, but I'm playing it at a really low pitch. Now, not only do you get the darkness effect when a new one of these mannequins spawn, you also get it when you're just really close to it. You can see it's constantly refreshing. Something else you may notice, oh there it was, there's a little transition from the center to here. I've experimented with removing that, but I actually ended up quite liking it. It's an artifact from teleporting the mannequins to a random location around us, but I ended up really quite liking it actually. So, well, that's creepy. No, it's staying, the animation, the transition there. Now, if you find yourself in this forest and you're a little bit scared, fear not. This entire path is a loop and you can always come out here at the start again. And when you do, they'll disappear. The blindness disappears as well. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. They are literally not going to hurt you. I didn't code them to do that. But taking a look-see around here, I think we're kind of finished. I have added 4 spooky rides to a brand new spooky expansion called the Haunted Woods is the name that I've settled on. We have the Haunted Carousel, the Colourless Cascades, the Endless Manor, and the Forest of Reflections. And of course, the way that we get to the Haunted Woods is through this haunted train station over here, which you will notice I've added cobwebs. And so I hope that despite all of the spooks, you have enjoyed this video. If you're wondering why my skin looks like that with the black bars on it, I'll leave a video with an explanation for that in the description. I hope that you have a wonderful spooky season, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!